We're in Birmingham.
And we're just by Victoria Square, outside Greg's. And we're with, what's your name?
Aaron.
Okay. And we're calling Pinky.
From the cartoon Pinky and the Brain.
Why did they call you Pinky?
I used to get stoned with my ex's son. He come out with stupid comments. I started calling him Brain, and he started calling me Pinky, and it stuck.
Okay, so you've got an accent there. Where you from originally?
Originally, I was born in Gibraltar, but I was brought up down south, down in London.
Okay, cool. So you're in Birmingham at the moment, yeah? How long have you been here for?
I've been here for about 4 years.
Okay, so what's your time in Birmingham been like then?
To be honest with you, it's not been too bad. It's been better than what it was down south. We haven't got HMOs and hostels and that down south, so when COVID and that hit, it was kind of difficult being on the streets, and they were putting us all up in different places, and I had a habit, and I couldn't support my habit, so I kind of used the Salvation Army, and I was being forced to sell drugs for a drug dealer, so I got moved for modern day slavery. But where I was in Brighton, it wasn't suitable enough, so I got moved to Birmingham.
Okay, so can you elaborate on the modern day slavery and the?
Basically, because I was forced to sell drugs for a drug dealer to pay off a debt, it was classed as modern day slavery, sort of like human trafficking. They even got investigated for it, the guys that I was building a house for, because I was selling drugs for them. And they literally had 4 people investigated for modern day slavery, because they thought that they were literally making them work every day for a tenner a day.
Okay, so how much was you getting paid?
I was getting paid in drugs, and I was getting paid in money. I was getting paid 6 items a day, which works out at being about £40, and then probably £30 on top of that a day.
Okay, so when you say items, what do you mean by that?
Heroin and crack.
Okay, and 6 items, so would that be 3 of each?
Usually I'd have 5 and 1, because I don't do too much of the heroin.
Okay, so how long was you on heroin for?
I started taking heroin when I was about 31, and I've now been off of it for about 18 months.
Okay, so you started heroin a bit late, isn't it?
Yeah, I did compared to everyone else.
Yeah. Why was that then?
My mum moved to Jersey, and she was my support network, and then I had a breakdown with family and my relationship, and I started smoking crack with someone, and next thing you know, it kind of led to heroin, and that's how I ended up getting an addiction.
Okay, so can you tell me a bit about that situation?
Basically, I was on the streets, but one of my friends was letting me stay at their flat, and I bumped into an old school friend that I knew that smoked crack, and I asked him if he could get me some crack, because I just wanted to smoke. He offered me heroin, hadn't taken it before. I smoked it, and it to me, it was just like smoking weed again for the first time, but it was more intense, so I enjoyed it. I was smoking it every day for about 3 months, and then I got told that I'd probably have a habit. So I was like, nah, I'll be all right. My pals were like, try not taking it for 3 days. So I went 2 weeks without touching it. So that led me into a full sense of security, thinking, it hasn't got me like it's got everyone else. So I carried on smoking it, hanging around with a shoplifter, and it took for that shoplifter to get arrested one night and not be there in the morning when I needed him for me to realise, and I was rattling.
Okay, and how did that feel?
Horrible. Literally, I wanted to rip my skin off.
Okay, so can you go into the feelings of it?
Well, the best way to explain it is like having the flu, but 50 times worse. It's the worst part of it is when you're being sick and you end up literally shitting yourself, and that's the worst of the rattle. But that's usually when you inject, and I've never injected.
Okay, so when you kind of found out that you was addicted, so what happened after that then?
I started shoplifting. I had to shoplift to support my habit, which was before COVID, and then because of COVID hitting, I couldn't shoplift because you couldn't get in shops anymore.
Okay.
So I got on a script.
Okay, so what script is it?
I was on the Espinal, I was on blockers, like Subutex.
Okay, so can you explain Subutex?
Subutex, it's a blocker you can't use on it. Basically, if you use heroin, it doesn't affect you. Basically, you're better off just setting fire to your money.
Okay, so That's mad. How does that work?
Literally, it's just a tablet that you take.
Okay.
But they've also brought out the injection now as well, once a month. The buprenorphine injection, slow release, and that takes away all the cravings and everything as well.
So does that help people then?
Yeah.
So and you've been off it since COVID?
I was clean when I came to Brum.
Yeah.
Within 6 months of being in Lozells, literally I was back on it, and I've now been off of it for the last year and a half.
Okay, so do you want to tell me a bit more about the situation in the Lozells?
I literally got dumped straight into a hostel, which I told them I didn't want to be around drug users, and within 5 minutes of being there, the hostel manager introduced me to someone that I could buy drugs off.
I gotta laugh at that. That's the so what you're saying, like the house managers in on it as well.
Yep. Even the housing associations around here, they're all in on it, because I tried getting into a HMO, didn't want to be around drug users, told them that. They're like, no, there's no drug users, took me to the house. Within 5 minutes I was offered a crack pipe and a mamba spliff.
Okay, so all of the residents were on drugs?
Every single one.
Okay, so, and then it spiraled from there?
Yeah, literally I was staying there, I tried not using, they kept letting the gas and electric go. We were going for like a week or 2 weeks without gas and electric, and I ended up putting myself back on the streets because I didn't want to end up using again.
Okay, so how long was you on the streets for?
About 4 months before I got into I've just recently got in somewhere.
Okay, and are you used to living on the streets?
Not really. I've lived in tents and things, but never actually really slept rough. It's only been when I've been in Birmingham that I've slept rough.
Okay, how did you find it?
I got robbed constantly. You had to sleep with one eye open. It's horrible, absolutely horrible.
So who would you be getting robbed by?
The other homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just normal.
Not just any randoms. It's the other homeless robbing the homeless.
Okay. So, what's the community like with the homeless in Birmingham then, in the city centre?
In general, they're all right actually. A lot of them are very, very generous. A lot of them will buy you food and drink if you want food and drink. A lot of them tend to not give money because they don't want to see it go on drugs, which is understandable. But then I don't tend to ask for money, I tend to ask for food or drink.
Okay, because we was just speaking to a woman before we started the interview, and she said that you was a lovely guy, always polite, and I think that's the reason why I wanted to do the interview with you today, because I was coming to get a Greg's with my missus, and I seen you and I thought you was polite, and you come and ask me about my dog, and I thought, yeah, you'd be an interesting interview, and so far I think it has been as well. So just a quick question now. What do you think needs to change in Birmingham, or maybe the UK in general?
I think we need to start setting up more charities for the homeless, and there needs to be somewhere where we can go that's safe. We need to be able to find somewhere where we can put our heads down. Like, there's so many rundown buildings in Birmingham that could be converted into hostels or anything like that. But they need to be properly run. We can't keep having these hostels where they just want people for the money.
Yeah.
They need to actually support us. Because I've been in a hostel where I'm supposed to have support sessions once a week. I've been there for like 6 months and not had one support session.
Okay. So, why do you think that the city are not supporting homeless or drug addicts?
I don't actually know. I think it might be to do with the money, because Birmingham's gone bankrupt now. They haven't really got the money to fund a lot of it. But then there's plenty of charities out there that do. It's just finding them.
Okay. Yeah, that's it's difficult, man. It's difficult. You know, when you was talking about the slavery charge, the slavery. So, do you feel safer now being in Birmingham? Do you have any ties? Do you still have ties back to your old city?
Yeah, I still have ties back down in my old city. I do feel safer here. I'd rather be here than back. I could never move back there. I've always said you can't get better in a town that made you ill. So because I started the drugs there, I don't think I could go back there, because that's all I know around there.
Okay. So Where do you see yourself in like 5 years' time?
Hopefully, I'll have my own house again and I'll be working.
Okay. So you've done much work in your past?
Yeah, I've done a lot of roofing and like painting and decorating because my old man had his own painting and decorating business.
Okay. So would that be something that you'll get into?
Yeah, I would like to get back into painting and decorating, or I wouldn't mind getting into window cleaning.
Okay, that's cool, man. Is there anything that you've got on your mind that you would like to say regarding the matter?
Only the fact that people need to stop judging us because we're homeless. Just because we're homeless, we're not all the same.
Okay, so when you say we're not all the same, like, do you get people that take advantage of the general public? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of the homeless that will lie to people, that turn around and tell them they've got cancer and things like that to get money out of them, and I think that's wrong. But then I can understand why some people tell stories because they get ignored a lot of the time, and it's not hard to say no to someone. Instead of just ignoring them and walking past them or even being rude, just say no.
Okay. So, do you think there's a stigma for homeless people?
100%. We all get tarred with the same brush.
Do you speak to many people in the day?
I speak to a lot of the general public during the day. Yeah. I tend not to speak to a lot of the homeless because I tend to keep myself to myself from them.
Okay. So, what is the homeless community like out here? Is it?
A lot of them are good. A lot of them are really good guys. But then you've got a lot of them that are two-faced and backstabbers. Like I said, it's the homeless robbing the homeless. Okay. And that's the worst. I mean, we're supposed to be looking out for each other, not stabbing each other in the back.
And one thing that I've noticed, that a lot of the homeless and drug dependent are white working class men. Do you have anything to say about that?
That's usually because it's the Asians bringing it in or the Yardies bringing it in. Okay. That's why I think you don't tend to find a lot of blacks or Asians on it.
Okay, so what would you say, why you don't see many blacks and Asians on drugs?
Yeah, you see them on weed and coke, but you don't see them on the crack and heroin because they're the ones selling it.
Yeah. So is that your experience in the cells?
Yeah, they won't get high on their own supply.
Okay. Do you think that's embedded into that culture?
Yeah, 100%. All over the country.
Okay. And what about the homelessness then? What would you say?
The homelessness, all over the country? Or just in Brum?
Birmingham in general, yeah.
I mean, in Brum, when I was homeless down south, it was harder than it is up here. I mean, I've started speaking to people that I've never met before that are homeless, and we've been able to bed down together and you've been safe. You can't do that down where I'm from. Where I'm from, literally, you have to be on your own, otherwise you're not safe.
Okay. So if you was you're like pretty much a lone wolf?
Yeah.
I can't, you know what, I've done a few interviews and a few people that was living rough. You don't live rough at them?
No, not now.
Okay. So how long have you been?
4 weeks I've been in this hostel.
What's that like?
It's alright, it's actually really good. The support workers are really good. I've been getting support sessions every week, and like when I actually went for my assessment, they actually seem like they want to work with us to move us on to better places.
Okay. So what's the next step for you, would you say?
The next step, I'm hoping to be moved into either a HMO or like a little side annex of my own, and then I can start thinking about getting off of my script and then hopefully get back into work.
Okay, brilliant. So do you have a message for your younger self?
Yeah, don't do drugs.
Also, do you have any advice for other people that might be thinking about taking a hard drug?
Listen, if you get on the streets and you become homeless, the best thing for you to do is try and get in somewhere straight away. Don't fall into the trap of the circle of drugs, because I tell you what, you won't get out of it.
What was your upbringing like?
Brilliant, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't blame anything, like my drug use or anything like that. It's nothing to do with my upbringing, it's all to do with me.
Okay, so you know what's refreshing as well, that you're taking accountability.
Yeah. I'm the only person I've got to blame for the drug use is myself. No one else. No one else forced it into me. I'm the one who took it.
So would you say you have to be in the right mind? So what made you then to want to take it? Like,
Because I've always said you can't knock something until you tried it.
is that your mentality?
Yep.
Okay. And what you're saying to your younger self, don't have that mentality?
Yeah, don't ever think, oh, you have to try something before you don't like it. Listen, turn around and say you don't like something just by the sound of it. That's what I used to do with food when I was younger. I didn't like mushrooms because I didn't like the sound of them. I wish I'd done that with drugs.
Oh man, you know what? You've made me smile today still. Very good guy, man. Very bright guy. You're here outside Greg's most of the day?
Yeah, most of the day. If anyone wants to come say hello, more than welcome. I'm always up for a chat.
And what's your name?
Aaron, but everyone calls me Pinky.
Yeah, Pinky. Yeah, Aaron. Yeah, my name's Reese.
Reese, nice one.
It's been really good to speak to you, man.
And you, man.
Yeah.
Nice one, bro.
Respect.
Safe, bro.